Listen to me. I struggled with my weight for 10 long years before it finally clicked. I would go on diets, I would fail, I would lose 20 pounds, I would gain back 30. And every time that happened, I lost a little confidence. Every time that happened, I would think that something was wrong with me. I had this story in my head that I didn't have discipline, I didn't have willpower, I was lazy. And that story kept me stuck for 10 years. And it wasn't until I learned the things that I'm gonna share in this video that I finally was able to find success and get out of my own fucking way. Men, especially men over 35, going into their 40s, we have a very unique set of challenges that really hinder us from having success with weight loss, especially if you don't really understand how impactful these very unique challenges are. So I'm gonna unpack each one of these challenges today, and I'm going to explain to you how to move them out the way so that you can finally have success with weight loss. If you're new here, my name is Robert Brix Glover. Follow me on Instagram, follow me on LinkedIn. I lost 160 pounds about 13 years ago. I am now a full-time weight loss transformation specialist. I'm currently taking on online coaching clients. So click the link in the description if you are looking for a coach. But I only take on people who are serious and who are ready to invest in themselves. So do not waste my time. Do not sign up for a call if you're not ready to make the investment. I do this for real. My clients' results speak for themselves. I also have an accountability group that I recently launched called The Circle. This is designed for people who don't have the budget to hire me one-on-one, but they still need support, they still need community. Click the link in the description to find out more about that. So let's jump right into the 5 reasons. All right, so most men I know over 35, we have kids, we have wives or girlfriends, we have careers, we have a lot of responsibilities. And a lot of us also have childhood trauma that needs to be addressed, but that's another conversation. But anyway, I digress. With all of those things weighing us down, the stress, the pressure, the bills, the expectations, having to take care of everybody and not take care of ourselves, that weighs on us. Excuse the pun there. And a lot of us, we don't consider how that stress and that pressure contributes to our ability to stay focused on the weight loss program. Because what happens is when you are stressed, it's not just mental. Your body has a physiological response to that. How your body responds to stress is it creates cortisol. Now, cortisol is a hormone that encourages body fat storage. It also literally makes you sick. It compromises your immune system. So when you experience high levels of cortisol in your body, you're storing belly fat, you can't think straight. So of course you're not gonna have access to willpower. So one thing that I've implemented, and if you haven't watched my vlogs, I suggest you checking out some of my vlogs. I always talk about having a mindfulness routine. I'm an avid meditator. I've been meditating for 10 years. I honestly think I would be in jail if it wasn't for a meditation practice. It's the #1 tool that I use to manage my stress. But for you, it may not be meditation. It may be journaling. It may be a breathing exercise. Before I started this video, I did my 4-7-8 breathing exercise. It's real simple. I'll save that for another video, but find some breathing exercises. Find a breathing exercise. It's all about gathering tools and experimenting with different ways for you to manage and process your stress. Because once you regulate your nervous system, once you're able to lower the cortisol levels in your body, that's when your inspiration will come back. That's when you'll have the willpower to actually stick to a journey. So find ways to reduce the stress in your life. If that means finding another job, if that means getting rid of that girl you're dating, if that means having a conversation with your family and asking them to support you, find whatever way you can to minimize the stress, because once you minimize the stress, the weight loss process will be so much easier. All right, so the second reason, the lack of sleep. I can't tell you how many times I've had clients who were eating everything that they should be eating, right? Eating in a calorie deficit, getting enough protein, working out hard in the gym, but they still weren't seeing results. And then I ask them, how many hours are you sleeping? Oh, I'm sleeping 4 hours a night. No, bro, it's not going to work like that. For one, the lack of sleep contributes to the stress, which contributes to the cortisol. The lack of sleep means that your body is not recovering properly, which means that your mind is not recovering properly. The lack of sleep means you don't have energy. And if you don't have energy, your body's gonna ask you for energy. You know what your body's favorite way to get energy? Sugar, carbs, sweets, fattening foods. So you have to prioritize your sleep. I swear, if I get anything less than 6.5 hours of sleep, as soon as I wake up, I want pancakes. That's biology. And you may think, oh, I'm fat or I'm lazy or I don't have willpower. That's why I want pancakes. No, there's something happening in your body. You're not rested. You're not recovering. So your body's just asking you for energy. This is science, guys. And if you understand this stuff and you do the things you need to do in order to prevent these situations from happening in your body and in your mind, it can make the weight loss process so much easier. All right, the next reason, we have some very outdated rules or understandings of how exercise works. A lot of us who are 35, 40, 45, we grew up in the aerobics era. And sometimes it's not even outdated beliefs. Sometimes it's our lack of willingness to be uncomfortable. I know so many black men who are 35, 40 years old, who are not too familiar in the gym. They're not super comfortable in the gym. So they go for what's safe, which is just the cardio machines. They don't want to do free weights. They don't want to really challenge their body in that way because they don't feel confident. And I understand that. But you are doing yourself a disservice if you are not training with weights. Training with weights is going to stoke your metabolism. It's going to build more muscle, right? It's going to improve your body's fat burning efficiency. It's going to improve your posture. It's going to improve your confidence. And another outdated old school belief when it comes to exercise is no pain, no gain. I hate that shit. I'm not a fan of that concept because honestly, it doesn't even make sense. We are trying to do way too much, way too fast. We're trying to push our bodies way too far beyond our limits, and it only ultimately sets you back. I see people the first week of the gym, they want to be in there just doing way too much. They're sore as fuck the next day, and then they wonder why they don't have motivation to go back. Pace yourself. This is a marathon, all right? So the ego lifting, these outdated bodybuilding beliefs, or the idea that you have to just do cardio or you should just do cardio, we got to get rid of that. That is getting in the way of your results. All right, so the next reason, emotional eating and cultural impact. Where do I even start with these two things? A lot of us associate food with comfort. Listen, I know all about it. I used to have a very stressful life. I still do. But I would come home from a long day of work, and the only thing I wanted to do, I didn't want to play with my kids. I didn't want to have sex. I wanted to sit on the goddamn couch, and I wanted to shove food into my face. That's all I wanted to do. That's all because I needed to feel some sort of pleasure after slaving for the man all day. That's one of the worst habits we have, not just as men over 35, as people in general. And here's the thing about stress eating, emotional eating, and I know this is probably the number one reason why most of us carry more weight than we want to. Here's the thing. Whatever you're using that food to escape from, it's still gonna be there after you finish eating. And I know that doesn't mean much to a lot of us. I get it. You feel the pressure, you feel the stress, you feel the frustration, the emotions, and you just want to feel better. So ice cream helps you do that. But doing that is like getting in your car and seeing the check engine light on and putting a piece of tape over it. That's what emotional eating does. It doesn't help the problem. So it would help for us to develop better ways to manage the stress, find ways to process our emotions over time. And I know it's easier said than done. And this is something that I help my clients with. I'm actually working with my group coaching program right now on this specific thing. I'm teaching them tools to help them manage their stress, manage their emotions, manage those negative thoughts so that they can untrain their bodies to ask for food whenever they feel stress. Right? I'm teaching them breathing exercises. I'm teaching them journaling exercises because this stuff works, but you got to do it consistently. Now, as far as the culture, black folks, let me tell you something about soul food. Don't get me started about soul food. We eat foods that weaken our body. and we call it soul food. We still eat the same type of foods that the slave masters used to feed us back in the day. What the fuck is a chitterlin? Why are we smothering pork chops? Why do we have so much cheese in the goddamn macaroni? Like, why? The shit, if you pay attention, it is destroying your body. Food, the unit of measurement of food is what? A calorie. What does a calorie mean? Energy. So that means that your food is supposed to give you energy. So if you eat food and it kills your energy, it makes you sleepy, there's something wrong there. All right, so we need to learn to love the foods that love us back. We're too busy indulging and escaping in these foods because they feel good in our stomachs and in our mouths for 20 minutes while we're eating it, but afterwards we feel like shit. We have to break up that relationship. And again, I don't want to sound insensitive. I know the spell that these foods have over us, but you can get control of it. You'll need support. You'll need guidance. You need accountability. You need community. And whether you get that with me or somewhere else, please get it. Stop trying to do this by yourself. Stop acting like you get another body, because you do not. Okay, you get one body, and once you fuck this one up, it's a wrap. So start to work on this tendency to emotionally eat. Start to work on these beliefs you have around foods or these customs you may even encourage in your own home. Stop associating fun and TV and movies and celebration with eating foods that destroy your body. Why does that make sense? All right, so let's be better. It's time for us to evolve. We know better now, right? 20, 30 years ago, our parents, they didn't know any better, but we know better. So let's do better. Reason number 5, a lot of us, especially men, we have this syndrome, this one-man band syndrome. Oh, I got this. I can do this on my own. And it's a delusion. We all need help. We all need some sort of external accountability to keep us focused. Because by nature, our flesh is designed to destroy itself. Your mind is negative. Your flesh, your body is asking you for things that constantly deteriorates it. Right? Because your body, your mind, your nervous system is addicted to comfort. And a lot of our comforts are things that just do not serve us. So you have to have a radical acceptance of that fact and then get some support. Get a coach, join some sort of group, right? Get a workout partner. Maybe set a goal with your significant other, right? Have a check-in system. I used to use social media. I used to post every single day on social media, and I say, hey, listen, if I don't post, come for me. Check in with me, because I know I could not do it by myself. It took a village. In order for me to get from here to here, there were so many people involved. Don't try to do it by yourself. Again, I'm taking on online coaching clients. If you need support, if you need systems, you need structure, you need somebody to check in on you to make sure that you're keeping your promises to yourself, tap in with me. Again, do not sign up for a call if you are not ready to invest, not just money, but you are ready to commit, invest your commitment, your whole self. You have to prioritize this. Weight loss or any sort of big change cannot be an afterthought. It has to be prioritized because life is always going to happen. All right, squad. So ultimately, we have to remember accountability is key. We have to be aware of the emotional eating, the stress eating, and the cultural impacts. We have to unlearn a lot of the things we think is right when it comes to fitness, right? A lot of the old school beliefs. We have to be sure to get enough rest. That is so key. And we must manage the stress in our lives. Guys, hopefully that was helpful. I want you to hit the thumbs up button right now if you haven't. Much love to the Brix Squad. And as always, remember, the body that you want is owned by a higher version of yourself. So evolve. Peace.